Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video with another shit box. This one's actually at the new house, as you see. First kind of car flip that we're doing here at the new property, and it's a Trailblazer, which is fitting enough. You know I love these vehicles. You know I personally drive one as a daily. This one's got some damage. It's got a dent, bad bumper, and a couple mechanical things. So I have my work cut out for me mechanically and cosmetically, but I picked it up for 500 bucks, so it's worth it. You can see she runs. It's got the 5.3 in it, which is nice. It's also extended, which is also nice. Bring you inside here, show you some things it needs. Broken center console, so that kind of just flaps there. Got a seat trim piece, because these always break off. New little switch there for the steering wheel, just because that one's a little eaten up. Radio sounds good and works. Climate controls, it works on the screen and all that. Blend door actuator's completely out. Needs a battery for sure. We jumped it with the Mercedes, and that's the only reason it's running right now. But it's an LS. It's a reliable motor. It's a V8 Trailblazer, which is cool. It's definitely got some value in it. If I fix a couple of things that are wrong, I already think I fixed something. It was dripping power steering fluid when I first got it. I put some stop leak in. It hasn't dripped since, so. All right, day 2. Haven't done much. Really, the only thing I did today was, I'll show you here in a second, I put a new battery in it. So now she fires right up. Yeah, which is what we want. I've got some interior parts I'm gonna probably put on now that I've got some spare time. I need, this is gonna go on the center console there. As you can see, the little nub thing's broken on this one, so it doesn't stay close. I got the switch for the steering wheel, and then the driver's side seat. And then I think I'm gonna, maybe next week, maybe this week I'll be able to get in, but probably next week I will mess with that oil there. I'm gonna give it a full oil change. Then I can do a good drive with it, give it a good drive cycle, see if I get any check engine lights or anything coming on. Then I'll probably take it to a shop, see if they can do an alignment. I'm doubting that it's going to just be able to go and get an alignment without needing like a ball joint or something like that. So if that's the case, I'll probably just have them do the ball joint, save myself some time, and then get that and the alignment done at the same time. And then I think I'm really just gonna put those body panels on. Oh, fix the blend door actuator. Obviously it's gonna need tires after the alignment too, so as long as I can get this oil pressure going back to normal, we'll be good to go on stage 2, or step 2 I guess, which would be the alignment tires. And then step 3 is the body panels out there, fixing the blend door actuator, giving it a detail. Hopefully we can get inspection on it, and she'll be good to go. But you can see there, 3 Phillips head screws, and these come out. And then this is the new one. You can see the old one here completely broke right off, so that's just chilling down there, and we're gonna screw that back in. There we go. You can see this one fits all nice and tight against the seat, unlike the other one that was flopping and dangling off, and it works. Even the lumbar, which is impressive. So there we go. That seat looks good. Really happy that there's no rips or anything in these seats. All these seats are good, even the third row. For those steering wheel controls, you just take a pick and you kind of just pry it out of there, and then there's one plug on the back, and your new one just pops right in. Last thing I had to do today, put the new center console lid on. Now she closes fine. Alright, stay tuned for what else we got. Alright, so it's been a couple weeks here since we've messed with the good old white Trailblazer over there. Love how the second I come out to make a video, everyone's making noise. Lawn mowers run, leaf blowers run. But here she is. In the downtime, it's been like probably 3 weeks now since I've last shown you guys this. But in that time I've done some stuff. Obviously I've washed it. I've given her a really good bath ever since. A bunch of pine needles are falling now. Great. Guess they're coming from these trees. It's that time of year. It's like mid to late fall at this point. But she was clean till that happened. It's obviously going to need a full detail still before I sell it. Interior has not changed at all. I mean, I have the keys on me right now, but same old as it was before. Really all that's gonna need is a detail before we sell it. But look at this, the paint is in great shape compared to, you know, no swirls, no hazing. You know, I'll tell you what, cars that are parked under trees, they're protected. The paint really gets protected. Only real flaw is a little bit of rust on the tailgate. And of course body damage, which, as you can see, we're gonna be fixing this weekend. We got a couple things planned. Oh, the other thing I figured out off camera, the power steering leak, got that figured out. You can see now, she don't leak. It's a little just wet under there just from it rained, but it rained and hasn't dried there yet because the sun doesn't reach this area until later. Obviously that fender is messed up. We got this new one that I picked up the other day for 25 bucks right down the road from here. It was really nice. Guy was parting out a Trailblazer, went, took the fender off and paid him 25 bucks for it. Brought it back, cleaned it up. It's ready to get installed. I hope to do that this weekend. I want to mess with this bumper a little bit because chances are if I can't find one in a junkyard before it comes time to sell it, I want to have this popped out. I know it's still got some paint failure and stuff like that. I'll be able to buff some of this stuff out. That obviously is paint failure, and there's cracks in the bumper. If I pop that out, I then also need to move that latch, that thing that's bent right there. I need to bend that back so that can clip on. Other than that, I think I'm going to try to get a new fog light for up here because this one's all faded. So yeah, new fog light to match that one. Headlights buffed up nicely. Gonna get that fender on. I want to do an oil change to it this weekend, and then I'm probably gonna get it registered, put some tags on it this week, and start driving it around. Get to an alignment shop to figure out what's causing the alignment issue, get it aligned. Hopefully it's nothing much, we can just get it aligned, put some tires on her, and get her ready to sell. After a good detail, obviously. Alright, so first deal of business today is gonna be this fender. As you see, I got the working fob now. I put a new battery in it. Try to see if I can get this door open enough. I'm gonna have to move it, obviously, because my roommate's bike here. But there's a bolt in there at the top there. You can kind of see. So both of those need to come out, which could be a little tough considering the fender's already buckled in. Squeezing in there is going to be pretty tough. And then there's like 3 more that line right up here, really easy to get to, right on the top. You can kind of see here where they are too. We got the side ones, one at the top, one in the middle, and then one at the bottom, which I'm going to have to take. I'm going to have to take this trim piece off for. I think, yeah, it's just going to be that trim piece. I don't think I have to take the entire running board off, but we're going to see. Alright, so I'm pretty sure all the bolts up here are all 10 millimeters. Yeah, they all look the same size, so we're just going to start going in here. Make sure I'm on the right setting. And yeah, they just come out like that. Pretty easy if you got a drill. That one's going to need to be through ratchet on the end just because of the hood, but as you saw, the other ones came out pretty easy. Alright, so we'll get this last one just here with the small ratchet. Yeah, even that comes out easy. Alright, and here we go. She's already starting to pop loose for us, which is good. That's what we want. So now that I've got these up here, I'm probably going to figure out the rocker panel down below so I can get the lower one and then the middle ones in the door. Now here for this rocker panel molding, we have one 10 millimeter screw there. And then the rest is all, I'm pretty sure I gotta drop that running board. I'm gonna try to see if I can just bend it back enough without damaging it just to get in and get the bolt that's down there. We'll see if that's possible. If not, we're gonna have to actually remove it. Alright, so quick change of plans. I just found out there's another screw back behind there, which I don't know. I saw that. I was looking at the Identifix procedures. Oh yeah, I see it down there. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to have to get the bumper off to get to that. And then the rocker molding, there's a tab on the inside that will help me pop that off. So yeah, I'm going to pull the grill now. It's just these tabs. You can see I've already started that. Once I get these tabs out, it'll open up the bolts for the bumper there. And I do believe, yeah, there's like a couple other bolts that I gotta get out, and then this one's already detached over here. And while it's off, I'm gonna mess with that. Try to get that to pop back out. Over here it's still attached though to the car, so we're gonna get that off, get this rocker molding figured out, get that off, and then finish up with the fender. Alright, so with the grill off, we're revealed with the weird looking headlights. With the, I don't get why they ever did this design with the molding running through. I guess it was to kind of match the Chevy trucks of the era, but it just looked ugly in my opinion. I like the facelifted one I got better. Grill's actually in great shape. I mean, that emblem and everything, so nothing I need to do with that. I just need to get these fasteners off for the bumper and keep working on what we need to work on. So if you're following along now with the fasteners on the bumper, they're all 10mm as well, and they all break pretty easy. You can see I'm just using a small ratchet here just because that's what I had on me for the other stuff. Oh, that one's a little bit more tough. Yep, that one was tough. Well, that sucks. Alright, so now we get the front of the bumper undone, and there's not anything really holding in the rear. The only thing's holding it in anymore. Over here, it's missing it. There's normally a little bar that connects down here. So over here we just got the clip that's on the car, or the SUV. Over here, it's the opposite. Clip to the SUV popped off, but we got the bar that holds it on down there. Whack. I don't know. That's what happens when you get into fender benders. But literally, fender bender. Alright, so there we go. Bumper's off. Took the one fog light out that was all messed up and cracked. The same guy I got the fender from, he's got a fog light for it. You know, look at how odd it looks with no bumper. Some people like this look, believe it or not. Some in the Trailblazer community, some people will take off their bumper and just leave the skeleton there. I don't know why. The sun's starting to mess up our view here of the fender, but you can see down here, that's where the bolt is, up in there. Yeah, another 10mm. And then I got the one here and down there, and then we're pretty much good to go for getting the fender off. Over here, I need to bend that back out before I put the bumper back on. And then I'm gonna have to try to see if I can get that dent out over there. And we're good to go. So for this one behind the door, I just opened the door just a little bit, and yeah, I might need one more extension, but if I put a little extension on, then I'll fit right in that hole. Be able to get that bad boy out. Quickly, while my mind's on it, try to bend this thing out. I'm hoping it's weak enough that I can just bend it with a pair of vice grips. Well, you can see the vice grips work flawlessly. I kind of figured they would. Once something's normally bent in once, it's pretty weak, it'll bend back out. Typical rule of thumb. Now the last thing I need to get is a clip that's behind there. You probably can't see it because the camera's getting whitewashed because all the white. The bolt from in here is already off. Once I get that tab off, I'll be able to bend this out of the way enough to get the final bolt for the fender off. Alright, so now we got this rocker panel loose enough to hopefully squeeze something in there. Squeeze in this long extension there and buzz that last bolt out, and then we're fenderless. And there we have it, folks. Look at that. Nice fenderless vehicle. There's the foam that goes in there. I'm debating whether or not to put that back in because that foam causes fenders to rust, which sucks. But yeah, there we go. There was the bolt here, and that bracket needs to get bent back a little bit. But bolt down there, bolt there, bolts along there, and a bolt there if you are trying to take off one of these fenders yourself. Now I'm going to run because I got to go get the fog light for that fender, or for that bumper, and then we're going to put the new fender, new fog light, fix the bumper, put it all back on. Give her a good oil change today too, I think. Alright, I went and picked up my new fog light for the passenger side, so now we got a full set. I just polished them both up so they look really good. It is nice having a parts guy around here. Like, since I moved here, I met someone, a gentleman who buys and sells Trailblazers as well. That's his main thing, is Trailblazers, and he gets a lot of Copart ones and does engine swaps. Like, he'll get one with a bad motor that's a clean title, get one from Copart that got into an accident, put the motor in. So he gets a lot of parts from those trucks because then he'll just part them out after he does the motor. So yeah, it's nice. I now got a parts guy He's right down the road from here too. That's where I got the Fender from. And any parts I ever need for my own Trailblazer or any that I'm flipping, he's normally got them. So that's a really nice thing to have. Anyway, we're about ready to start throwing everything back together here. I think I'm going to quickly try to see if I can pop the dent out on the bumper, and then we're good to go. Alright, as you can see, the dent's pretty much out. All I really did was just step on it from the inside. So, pretty simple fix. Obviously, there is still a little dent right there, some cracking in the bumper, some paint peeled off, but I think this bumper will do. I don't think it's going to cause too many complaints. Another crack there. But the fog lights look really good. I'm excited to get this back on, get this bad boy back together. Alright, I had to bend that tab back just a little bit. I don't know how this foam's supposed to go in here, so it's kind of just thrown in right now. We're going to see if the fender still fits on with that. I don't know how necessary all this crap is, but yeah, we'll see how it fits. Alright, there she is, fastened on with a bolt down there and up here behind the door just for now. Just to hold it in place so I can take a look at the lines here. Lines look pretty good. They're even throughout. Once I get in down here, it should be better. We got all the screws up here ready to get tightened down. Really, it's just two left. The one from the inside of the door there, and the one down at the bottom with the rocker panel. Once we get those in, we'll be good to tighten everything down. Put the V8 badge on the side, put the bumper back on, and put it all back together, and we got a complete Trailblazer on the outside. Then we just gotta fix some of the mechanical stuff. Look at that. Nice new fender. She held on sturdy. The lines are great. This was really a good fender to find. It's my extension rolling. But yeah, not a single ding in it. The paint's great. The pinstripe I'm going to take off because obviously it doesn't line up with my gray ones. One thing I would have done different, or that I'm going to do different next time, I'm going to take this whole molding off because I ended up bending that a little bit and now the gap is a little wonky down there. But the rest of the gaps line up. I mean, you see what's going on here. Nice and straight down at the bottom of the door. Yeah, so I'm going to put the bumper back on and then see what it looks like. Finally fixed from the accident damage. Alright, there we go. I hate the sun on this car because it just whitewashes everything out, but bumper's back on. You can see over here, got the dent out. A lot of that scuffing and stuff like that will come out with a buff. It's just where the paint has peeled that's going to look ugly still. I'm alright with that. It's alright. It's not too bad. I was really planning on getting a new bumper for it. I might still do it if I can find one in the junkyard if I'm there. I'm not going to run and make any special trips for it though. But yeah, you can see the bumper's back on. It's fitting right now that it's actually going into those tabs. The fender's on. It fits good. Good body lines, good gaps all around. Put the V8 logo back on. So yeah, I mean, that is a complete Trailblazer on the outside right now. I mean, minor cosmetic issues, little scuffs and dings around here and there. One little spot of rust starting on the tailgate, but that's about it. And yeah, it's in great shape. So definitely I'm excited to get it mechanically good. I'm going to do an oil change here in a bit. I'm not going to really record that. I mean, that's a pretty simple procedure to do on these Trailblazers, as with any car. But these upcoming weeks, I'm going to get it registered, probably start driving in a bit, and I'm going to figure out what the problem is with the alignment, see if I got to replace any suspension components. I'm hoping I don't. I'm hoping they just really hit something hard, or in the accident. I'm really assuming that in that fender bender where they, you know, just caused the damage I had to fix, that's how they messed up the toe so badly, because it's the toe. It's, you know, it's not pulling to any direction. Camber, caster are fine, but the steering wheel sits like this when you're going straight down the road. That's toe. So that would be pretty typical for an accident. If they got into an accident, they could have thrown that off. So I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping I can take it to an alignment shop, get it aligned, put some fresh tires on it, and she'll be ready to go after I also get an inspection. So I think it will pass pretty good. It runs and drives good. No check engine light. We're gonna see if I start driving if one pops on. And yeah, that'll be the telltale signs of if it's ready to go or not. Alright, you can see we got the goods. We got 5 quarts of oil there, and then 2 quarts of Lucas additive. Now what's weird is my gray Trailblazer, which is my daily driver if you don't know. It's a 4.2 inline 6. That holds 7 quarts of oil. This, the 5.3, the bigger motor, the V8, holds 6 quarts. So, I don't know how you factor that, but yeah, this holds less oil than the inline 6, for anyone wondering. So today, I'm going to, obviously I need to back it up a little bit. It just fits in this garage. But we're in the garage. I got some touch-up paint for that front bumper. We're going to touch up a couple of the spots where the paint actually cracked off. Obviously not great, but it'll cover up some of the blemishes and marks. And then we got the oil. We're going to do a full oil change with some Lucas additive. Hopefully make it run better. And no matter what, it definitely needs oil, A, and B, it could use an oil change. It sat for a while. You never just want to run a car that's been sitting for a while on the oil it sat with. Well, there we go. Like I said, it's not going to get rid of all of it. I still need to buff that area, get some of those scratches out. That is just paint that's gone, so it would need to be resprayed. Probably not going to do that here. I should try and mess with some of the rock chips on this fender. There's a bunch there, so I'm probably going to do that. I did some of the rock chips going back. In any spot like this side where the accident happened on this fender, it also happened here, so I touched up some of those spots so there wasn't bare metal showing. I touched up all the spots on the door that got eaten up by the old fender. So yeah, I'm just gonna get those last 2 rock chips we saw over there and then do the oil change. Alright, we're gonna start her up now that the oil change is done. I used the full bottle of the stop leak and half of the bottle of the just Lucas additive for high mileage vehicles, because the main thing being I should only be using, half, or I think it's 20% of the oil capacity should be getting used with the Lucas stuff. So like this is 6 quarts, so I should be using like 1.2 quarts of the Lucas to the 6 quarts of oil that are supposed to be in there. So I used 1 bottle, half the other bottle, and make that 1. I did a little bit less than the half because 1.2, but and then the rest is the 5 quarts of the oil. So oil's a little bit over, like 0.2 over what it normally should be. Nothing detrimental. And this thing still does leak a little bit from the bell housing, which is a common issue on these motors. Part of the reason we put stop leak in it, not really expecting it to do anything, but it could help out. But also, it also ensures that when the little bit leaks out, it's still topped off with oil. So anyway, let's fire up. Look at that. So let's see here. Oil pressure going up. Oil pressure's right dead in the middle where it should be. It's doing a bit better than before actually, and that Lucas stuff is supposed to bring up oil pressure too. Give her some revs. That fan is obnoxiously loud, but you can see. So next up on the agenda, I need to run and get gas because that's pretty bad. I gotta figure out what that squeak is at some point. That's coming down the line. But she's running pretty good right now. Yeah, just gotta figure out that squeak. Other than that, she purrs like a kitten. Can't really see, but nothing should be leaking how, I mean, nothing was leaking crazy like that before. Just a, couple of drips a week from the bell housing. That's how little that leak is. Anyway, yeah, there you go. She's running like good. I'm gonna take her for a drive, go get some gas. And yeah, we'll be back. Next up is the alignment and new tires. Alright, so I took her for a good drive, put some miles on her, I mean just around town obviously, but the oil pressure and all that's still good. Check engine light finally came on. We drove it enough to get the check engine light. The computer started talking with the motor again, which is good. It's what we wanted. We knew there would be some codes. I mean, this thing was sitting for so long and it definitely wasn't really loved beforehand. Put some gas in her. As you see, I put like 20 bucks in her. She's liking the new fuel. Only thing that's got it running rough right now, mass airflow sensor. It's got a bad mass airflow sensor. That's what the code's saying. Makes sense for why it's running so poorly. I mean, it's not getting the right, it's running rich right now. You can smell it when you're back at the exhaust tailpipe, which would be exactly that, a mass airflow sensor, because it's not getting enough air. It's burning too much fuel. I don't even know if you could have seen me right there. It's late, it's dark. Actually, it's not late, it's only 8 o'clock, but now we got daylight savings, which sucks. I'm gonna shut her down for the day. Look up some things about the mass airflow sensor, look up a couple other things like why we have no climate controls in here, why it's always saying driver door ajar, and yeah, I mean, keep doing some things like that, and yeah, like I said, I'm gonna get it registered and start really like driving it, because I like it, and it needs some more drive cycles and drive time on it before I can sell it. Alright, today we're working on the inside of the Trailblazer, even though I previously mentioned there's not really much else to do in here. There is one thing, HVAC. I get no blower motor whatsoever when I mess with this. I've already swapped out that electronic HVAC control thing with the one in my daily driver Trailblazer, just to make sure it's not that. It doesn't work the same way with my working HVAC controls. So, and I checked the fuses. Fuse box back there for your HVAC fuse. Fuse box under the hood for your blower motor fuse. So that led me to pulling the glove box out, looking at the blower motor, seeing that there was one in there, and seeing that it was completely unplugged. There's that plug right there. That is the correct plug. However, the plug on this blower motor is not the right plug. So I don't know how that happens, but I'm assuming the person who owned this last went and pulled one out of a junkyard thinking it was the right one, and it happened to not be the right one, and they just left it installed. I don't know. But since this is an EXT version, it's got rear AC and heat as well as front, so it's got a whole different type of blower motor. All they really do is just change the plug on it. So I got the one that my plug fits into. It was 120 bucks at AutoZone. Gonna put that in and cross my fingers that that fixes our problem here. If not, it's not a whole lot of work to do all that, and I could probably get that returned. Alright, I got her back in the garage here. We got a lot of new parts other than that blower motor that I showed in the last clip. We've also got a couple new parts over here. We got a new throttle body, new pedal position sensor, and a new mass airflow sensor. Since I'm going to be doing the throttle body, I figured I'll throw in a new mass airflow sensor too. It could have very well been that this thing just needed to be cleaned. If you remember me telling you, that's what the code was that the check engine light was reading. That part was pretty cheap with Rock Auto, and you know what? I'd rather play it safe and do that and guarantee that the job's being done right, other than just spraying some throttle body cleaner in it and then still getting that light after doing all this work. Now, the reason I've gotten a new throttle body and a new pedal position sensor is because of how the transmission was shifting. The transmission was shifting pretty rough from first to second, and that's a really common problem for these 4L60Es that were in the trucks, Blazers. Chevy loved that transmission, but that transmission was really problematic too. One of the problems being, if your throttle position sensor, which is on the throttle body of course, and the pedal position sensor, which is literally just a computer on the pedal, they can go bad. Typically it's just one going bad. I've gotten both to ensure we're doing it right, get the job done, and after this we should have a perfect shifting transmission. The code should go away. It shouldn't be running rich anymore. Also, the intermittent misfire should be going away too with this. So technically, when I'm done here, I mean, knock on wood, but when I'm done with all this, it should be driving great. Because other than those issues, it drove great. And then I can just go figure out the alignment issue, which I'm really wondering if it was from the accident, if it just really knocked something or bent something out of alignment. Figure that out. put some tires on it, and she's good to go. Alright, first thing, obviously remove the negative battery terminal. On all these GM side post batteries, it's 8mm. Then we go in here, we're going to loosen up all this ductwork, in fact take it all off, and take off this box, because I also have an air filter that I'm putting on, a new air filter because we're putting all these other new parts on. Why have a dirty air filter in there just to clog up a brand new throttle body and mass airflow sensor? It don't make sense. And an air filter is like $10, so yeah, we got that. Then we'll be able to take off the mass airflow sensor. All this ductwork will be out. Take off the throttle body, which is like a bolt here and then 2 bolts down there. They're all 10s. This one, I mean this, it's just you undo the hoses and then it's free, and then it's just that plug back there, and that has the throttle body also has a plug there that has to come out. The pedal position sensor though, that's going to be the tricky one. You really got to get up underneath here. You're not even going to be able to see, but you go up underneath where the pedal is, and there's like 3 10mm bolts that you got to pop out, which are really tricky to get to. So that we're doing last. We're going to see if we can get all this done first. Well, after removing the air box there, which you got to take this little bar off to get to, and then it's just 4 crusty screws normally holding on the air box. But you can see why I wanted to change this filter. That's disgusting. That looks like it's probably never been changed before. So yeah, this is going in the trash, and then I'm gonna wipe down, clean off all the spots underneath it for the windshield washer fluid reservoir, because that's just all dust that'll suck back in if I don't do that. Alright, here's our mass airflow sensor. You can see it's pretty discolored and dirty in there. Definitely is due for a cleaning. It's really stuck on this. All this duct work gets really brittle and begins pretty tough to get undone, but you also have to be pretty careful with it because it's also brittle and will break. Alright, with this off here, this air duct, it's just 1 Torx up there. You can see the difference between some years of build-up here. There's a new one, there's the old one. I popped out of the duct down there. And then this little ring goes on the top here. But still working on this throttle body. There's 2 hoses on the bottom that are being really annoying to get out, but once I get them out, that'll be good to go. I'm going to make this quick here because it's leaking coolant, because the coolant goes straight through these down here, these little hoses there. But you can see the difference here between the old one and the new one. Huge. And this computer, something's rattling in there, so we know this computer's bad now. Alright, I'm going to try to give you guys a better look at what this pedal position sensor job is going to look like now that we got some light in there. So you can see there's the connector for the electric, and then there's 3 bolts. 2 there and 1 up there. They're all 10mm. And that's the only one I can really get with a ratchet. The other 2 I gotta get with a wrench. So this should not be fun, but it's gotta get done. One thing I would highly recommend if you're going to do this job with the pedal position sensor, gear wrenches. I just picked up these. They were on sale at Harbor Freight for 20 bucks, and it's got a 10mm, which is what I need, and that's going to make this job so much quicker because these are some long bolts. Alright, I just took it for a spin, and these parts very well did fix the transmission issue. The transmission is not shifting rough anymore. The only thing is, this thing's now going through its relearn procedure since it's got a new electronically controlled throttle body and a new electronically controlled pedal position sensor. The pedal position sensor is fine. It recognizes where the pedal is and when it should be going or not. But the throttle body, it's being weird with. Like, it'll go from relearning it and knowing where the throttle should be to not. So I need to spend some more time with it, give it a couple drive cycles and do all that, and she should be driving good after that. Alright, so long time no see with the white Trailblazer, but we have it out here, and now all that's left, I got some tires for it. We began these on this week, getting it aligned. Right now I gotta get these brakes on. I got pads and rotors for it right there. So we're just gonna do pads and rotors all around, and then it'll have some good brakes again, because the brakes are nice and soft right now. These pads are pretty far gone. It's pretty hard for you to tell in there because it's dark, but they need replaced. And these rotors are warped, so do all of them right now. I was just going to resurface the rotors. I don't have a chance to get them into the school right now to do that, so I just got some new rotors for it. These rotors are already pretty thin as it is, so I don't even know if I have the minimum thickness left to actually machine them down. But yeah, we're going to put some new parts on, and yeah, I'll show you guys how I do it. I've done brakes on so many different Trailblazers at this point. It typically takes about an hour, as long as no bolts are really stuck. So fingers crossed that this one's going to be good. Let's get going. So it's obviously 19 millimeters to get the lug nuts off. We have two 17 millimeters for the front caliper, and then I believe it's 15 or 14 for the lower mounting bolts that hold the bracket on for the caliper. And then that frees all that up. You can take the rotor off, take the pads out, slap it all back in, move on to the next wheel. Alright, so these lower mounting bolts are 18s. So we're going to get these off now so I can get the rotor freed up and then pull that off. Much bigger bolts, as you can see, compared to the upper mounting bolts. And then this one at the top you can't really get with a with an impact, so I'll have to get the breaker bar for that one. Alright, that breaks nice and easy actually, so that's good. So I always hit up the rotor with some brake clean after I put it on here, get any grease off that my hands had on them as I was mounting it. Be sure it's a nice clean surface before it's getting used, because grease is the #1 cause next to overheating brakes that'll cause them to gas and warp, so we definitely don't want that. Alright, now I'm going to push down these pistons and this caliper, then I can mount the caliper back on, torque everything down to spec, and then we'll move on to the other wheel in the back. Alright, so on this side now, same thing for the lug nuts, 19 millimeter. For back here, it's a bit smaller. I believe it's going to be 14 and then 15 or 16 millimeters back here. Actually, it might still be the 17s for the main bracket. But we'll pop all that off, get the pads out like we did up front, put the new rotors on. This is where the rotors are really thin, is in the back here. But yeah, these pads like the fronts look okay, but I'm just going to replace them because I got them anyway. Well, that one broke pretty easy. Almost didn't even feel torqued down. Don't really like that, but at the same time I'll take it over them being rusty. At least I'm working on it. And there's that one breaking as well. Get this up and out of the way now too. Pull all the cobwebs out of it, clean it up. So after what was a whole hell of an ordeal that took about half an hour, everything's off. Someone had the bright idea to use Loctite on these big bolts. These big bolts that you also really cannot get an impact on. I had to put a huge extension on to get the lower one, and the upper one I was lucky enough to kind of just squeeze the socket on and get it off. I had to take off the sway bar end link, drop the sway bar down, fit that in, get the lower bolt out. It took me about 3 minutes of hard impacting to get the lower bolt off, and I had to ratchet strap the mounting bracket to the frame to get some tension on it to help get the bolt out. Way too much shit going on for a little mistake that could have, you know, saved me so much time. Nobody had to put Loctite on those bolts. There is thread locker that is made specifically for these bolts, not Loctite. Loctite is for bolts you never want coming out. These are serviceable bolts. You put some stuff on to protect the threads, keep them from getting rusty, and that's all. Anyway, I'm going to throw everything on right now, and then we're good to go. Alright, it's been a minute, but finally the Trailblazer is ready. As you can see, we got those nice new tires on there. Just got them mounted, balanced, got an alignment done this week, so she drives straight down the road, unlike before. You can also see, got some new brake pads and rotors all around. So now we're ready to finally start pressure washing it, get the detail done. Today I'm just going to do the outside. I'm going to have to pressure wash all these pinstripes off since these don't match. Luckily these old pinstripes are coming off pretty easily, you can see right there. So we'll do that. And then also the engine bay, as you can tell, is going to get a nice little detail today too. We're going to be starting with this. So here's the before. And I'll show you the after. And then we'll get it moved inside. Do the interior, which is going to take the bulk of this detail. Because believe me when I say, this interior is nasty. Look at all that filth in the center consoles. It's just as bad back there, and there's 3 rows. So definitely going to be a long detailing process, but the hope is I want to get this thing listed towards the end of this week and have it up for a week and a half. And then if it's not doing well, doesn't sell well, I'm probably going to take it to a Fraley's auction. If you remember the same auction I ended up buying that Pathfinder at, they've got another one coming up next week. It's a vehicle specific auction, so there's going to be a lot of vehicles there. I think it would be a good spot to try to sell this. I don't have a lot of money into it. I do have a lot of time into it and a lot of time that's been taking up space on this parking lot. So it kind of needs to get out of here at this point. And yeah, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully it just sells quick on Facebook and we can move on. Alright, and just like that, we're off. Step 1 of the process is done. This engine bay is looking so much better now. You remember this white was just caked in dirt and grime. Look at this now. Much more presentable. Gonna really make this engine bay pop when someone pops the hood to look at it and listen to this 5.3 sing. Alright, on to the exterior now. So the pinstripes are starting to come off. Gives you somewhat of a look of what it's gonna look like without the pinstripes there. All the yellow is from this banana wheel. That's what I've been using to get them off. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a giant eraser that sits on a drill, spins, and the friction takes off rubber stickers and a lot of other stuff. But glue for an emblem adhesive, that's another thing. But yeah, so hopefully all this yellow comes off then when I buff it. I don't see a reason it shouldn't. It's just discoloration in the paint, which comes out with a cutting compound. But yeah, there's a bit of an idea of what it's going to look like without the pinstripes. Now I just have to do the rest of the car, hopefully before it gets too dark. Alright, you can see we've got all the floor mats laid out here. They've all been pressure washed, extracted. Some interior pieces have been pressure washed as well. We're in the middle of vacuuming right now. You can see there's a lot to be vacuumed back here, as you know. But yeah, coming along pretty good. We're going to keep vacuuming here. Probably today I'll finish up by just vacuuming. I'm going to clean the windows, and then tomorrow I'll extract all the interior stuff, clean interior plastics, finish up on the interior, and Sunday I'll probably give it a wax and get it listed hopefully. Alright, and just like this, we are done the interior. I'll give you a better look tomorrow when it's out in the light. It's been raining all day today, as you guys can see, so I'm probably not going to get my pictures of this until tomorrow after I wax it, because it still needs a wax. But yeah, look at this. The door panels turned out great. The floors are still drying. They're all wet, so I'm going to leave all the doors open to air it out. Yeah, the dashboard's looking good. Center console's all cleaned up. And yeah, overall, it just looks way better now. The seats have been touched up. The leather's all nice, soft, and supple. The back here, you can see huge improvement over what it was. Lots of stains, food crumbs, goo on the seats from probably children sitting back here. And like I said, that leather's looking really good now. Show you this trunk area here. Not too much has changed, but yeah, that looks good. I like the cargo cover that's in there. This door was all gunked up, got that all cleaned up now. And yeah, just overall, this is gonna really help sell this vehicle and make it so I can get all my money's worth out of it. Here's the back here. Carpets are in great shape back there. Same with the seats. Doesn't look like it was ever really use that much, just needed a good vacuuming. Alright, here we go, final day here. Just finished waxing it, as you can see. Brought a lot of shine back to this paint. It was really dull when we started out. Now it's got a deep gloss and lots of depth with the paint. Everything shined up nicely. I'm going to treat all this plastic here in a second. I'll show you after I'm done with that. I just wanted to show the paint here quickly. Show a bit of the inside too. Looks much better. You can hear it purring away. That mighty 5.3 V8. There we go. Look at how these seats came out. Really happy with the seats. The seats are in great shape. Driver's side floor over there. Walk you around, get you a better look at that. All these bug deflectors and rain guards here really shined up nicely too. Happy about that. Look at that. Look at all these door cards looking much better. Still a little bit of drying to do on the floor there. It's a little damp still. Steering wheel cleaned up. All these buttons aren't all grimy still. And the center console, the big grand finale right there. Looking much better. So yep, gonna get my pictures here. And then I'll show you guys quickly before I finish out the video what it looks like after I dress all this black plastic trim. So here she is, final product. All shined up, looking new. Looks pretty good with the pinstripes off. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about that. I was kind of pissed I had to lose them, but nah, this thing's a clean truck. Or SUV, whatever the hell you want to call it. Looks good, it's got the hitch. It's going to be a good sale. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, this about wraps it up. Overall, I have many months into this, as you all know. Hopefully it sells quick. Hopefully I can get the 37 I want for it, because that'll be about a $2,000 profit right there. So worth the time I have into it and the time that it's taken up that parking spot over there. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Stay tuned for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.